ElmaPuddy, welcome on in, brother. Tough day today. A day that I think, like it's been a lot of back and forth between y'all two. I mean, start of playoffs, still one more life left. Give me your initial thoughts.
We just have to have a play. I mean, we lost today because we were just not even there. Like, it was like a free win, basically, particularly on Lotus. It was just like, Merry Christmas, here's Santa Claus, have the map, Heretics. Abyss, the second half was good. I'm proud of how Burster called that and how the boys started to fight back. I think it's good that we could show that just to build a bit of momentum. Obviously, we got to play again tomorrow, but just to see, hey, we've still got it. Don't worry. So we just got to replicate what we did in that second half. We could have easily won that 12-11 round. Just unfortunately, I think we missed a couple of shots on. I think it was Rien. I'm not 100% sure though. That's coming through, kind of mid to be. But yeah, I think the Abyss were there. Fighting. Obviously, they picked it's the map that they're good at. So I was happy with how we played attack, and I think even defense we could have done a lot better. We just have to speed up some of those retakes. Sometimes I think just kind of they're playing a very post plant heavy comp. Be aware of that.
Exactly. Yeah, they're playing post plant. You guys looking to flood in, so it's like it is a pretty interesting back and forth when it does end up going on. But like you're saying, it's just close, but not over yet. Still a lot more game to go. To just also cite for what you guys have mentioned previously, right? But also said it today as well in the conference, and you also mentioned before too. Even back during EMEA, was you said the comms issues for the guys, right? It's just like them just not. So is that still the case today? Are they just not talking, communicating effectively? Like, what's up there?
That's it, pretty much. I mean, I noticed that was it. Just threw that pistol around, and the boys just stopped talking. We have communication protocols. Everyone knows their roles. Everyone knows how they should be communicating, the specificities they should be putting out there, and the urgency they should put in their voice for different kind of situations. They should be using people's names, confirming what they hear, but it just wasn't happening. And it's just, we're a little bit moody sometimes. And I think the reason we're so successful in EMEA is no one was moody. We were just chilling. Everyone was having fun. But we got to bounce back. Like, if something wrong happens, we got to learn to move on. Today we weren't able to move on. Even my first time out, I was not going to call a timeout, but the boys would spent half the freeze time talking about the previous round. I was like, I got to call a timeout because we're not going to this round. So it's just our own discipline and our own. It's just discipline about going into and focusing on the future rather than the past. Because once the round's done, it's done. You gotta try and win the next one.
You want? I understand that, and I get that for sure. It's just about the form boot mentality that just has to be there naturally. But I can definitely get it, because I know in the past as well too, we also cited Fnatic as being the team that, like, you know what, y'all essentially have goldfish memory in the sense that, you're quick to move on, ready to go to the next again and again and again, right? Which we've seen before, and as I've had contributed a lot to success. But hey, it is what it is. A game is a game, and Valor happens to be a tumultuous one quite often, unfortunately. Going a bit more to you though. Right now, I want to speak from my own experience real quick. Is as a NA caster, right? I remember I was around when you were around on Gen G, in fact, right? I was lucky enough to cast some of your games. I remember the very early squad of French Canadians, who who were very, very fun, right? So. What I would ask is, you now played in almost every single major region, in fact. Right, besides technically VCTNA, but yeah, it's there. You know what? That's there's like, talk to me about which ones you like playing the most though, considering each one has such different culture and vibes.
EMEA is the best. I don't really think it's very close either. I think Americans are a little bit harder to deal with sometimes. The egos are often a little bigger. But there's a lot of great people in NA as well. I think there's just the culture's a little bit different. I think how can I put this? I think the fact that Europe is so diverse, it's like it's one region, but it's like all these different countries. Is people are a little bit more, culture isn't quite the right, I'm trying to think of the right word, like just a bit more used to dealing with people that aren't exactly like them, a bit more maybe patient sometimes. So I think that they're sometimes a little bit easier to coach and a little bit easier to understand different points of views, where I think obviously America. It's a huge country, lots of different regions, but it is still the same country. And I think that having that kind of diversity helps out a lot in Europe. Just to have easier conversations and people, as I said, people a bit more patient and stuff like that. Asia, I mean, my experience of Asia is obviously a little bit. It's
interesting,
right? Like I was coaching a Korean team, and I don't speak Korean, so it's like, obviously that wasn't going to be my favorite experience.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was coaching like RRQ or something where like Indonesians obviously speak pretty good English, or like even a Filipino team that speaks English, or like Paper X just communicate English. So it's not like I was like coaching a team that I could actually communicate effectively with. Like obviously I had a translator on Genji, but it's not the same. You can't build proper relationships to a translator.
Yeah.
So, the Pacific one, it's more, I don't know. I just like how Europeans play. I obviously like the tactical stuff. I started with all the analysis breakdown, and I think
I remember
Europe is they play the style that makes the most sense to me. America also plays a style that makes sense to me, to be honest, but Pacific's a little bit can play a little differently than what I think is optimal, but it works for them sometimes.
Yeah, they play in a very fascinating fashion where they decide, you know what, even if we're not raised, we're just gonna fucking run in, bro, and just see what happens. And it works technically. Yeah, but I get you. Yeah, because Warbirds, who's a friend of mine, I've talked to him a lot about his experience as well going on and going to Secret. So naturally, his experience also been interesting for years too. Where luckily most of the team could speak English, so it was okay. But yeah, it's a. So then on that note that you mentioned, what's hard to understand? You think Quebecois French or Korean?
It took me. Because I only coached GMD out of the French Canadians.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 weeks to work out what he was saying. After 2 weeks, I could understand him. I had to tell him to slow down sometimes. He's a very fast talker.
Yeah.
But it's easier to learn someone's accent, obviously a whole new language. So I have to go with the French Canadians. Easy to understand. You get a few weeks of listening under your belt.
Understandable, dude. Yeah, Guimond is a special case, because even out of the French Canadians, because if you compare it to people like Huynh, right, you know, he decides that every word has to be a speed run, which makes it very fun to talk to him. Yeah. You could get through an essay within a second with that guy, bro. But aside from that, though, because you also talk about your analyst pass as well too, is which I've actually do research for this. I remember I went back and watched a bunch of those videos, right, on your analysis, which, I mean, hey, it's just good, dry, analytical content. You pull up maps, you talk about lineups. It's like, it's raw, it's there. Now, so out of curiosity then, was CS2 ever an option for you after Genji, or you were like, no, I'm staying in Val. I'm done with Counter-Strike?
I didn't ever think about swimming back, to be honest with you.
Really?
I always describe the games this way. Valorant is more fun, and it's also more frustrating. Counter-Strike doesn't have the same creative possibilities that Valorant does, but it's also a lot less random. I think Valorant can be a very random game sometimes.
Yeah.
Just stuff like you'd lose the pistol, and then the enemy's Raze gets all his kills on the first 2 rounds, and now you're going into round 3 versus a Raze ult, and it's like, oh, good chance I've gone down 0-3 here and ecoing again. So just stuff like that can be like, why this time kind of thing. But no, I never really considered going back. I still like Counter-Strike. I think it's a very clean, like a clean game. It's just simple. If you play well, you play well. But Valorant's more fun. So no, I didn't want to swap back. I don't really like. I don't like the old swap back. Like I've swapped to Valorant now. I don't want to swap back and back.
Yeah.
Like, let's put the back and forth.
I mean, you don't want to do the nitro, yeah.
I know that I don't like. I think it's not. I don't really like that. I think that I understand if you swap from CS to Valorant, and you're like, actually, I don't like Valorant. I'm gonna go back. I understand that, but I just don't like swapping back and forth. I think you get good at something and try and stick to it. Obviously, there's stuff that carries over, like coaching philosophies. Like obviously, like it's not all about tactics. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into coaching that obviously carry across from the two, but they are different games. And I think that's why you've seen most of the Counter-Strike players disappear, besides Ethan is the only one that I think played high-level CS and is now playing high-level Valorant as well. So I think that they are FPS 5v5 attacker CT
True.
games, but you can't think the same way between the two.
Of course
It
not.
requires
I mean, Finesse and Psalm are back technically, so it's like, you know, there is.
That's
there.
true. That's true. I'm thinking. I mean, FNS and Som were both good players. Obviously, I coach Som in Gen G.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking they were still streaming. I forgot they'd come back actually.
Yeah. Energy has technically come
I
back.
forgot. I thought they were still retired. I forgot about it. They only played a few games, so.
Yeah, they played like 4 games, man. That was tough, bro. But I mean, we'll see what happens next season. On an even lighter note, though, look, you claimed yourself to be a Mario Kart aficionado. You've been playing before the team was even born. You said specifically. Now, is there a specific version of kart that you're nasty at? If so, who's your character on it?
I mean, it was Mario Kart 64 growing up.
64.
64. I was playing Yoshi. Banshee Boardwalk, hardest map in the game. I remember I just nailed it. Like I just spent I don't know how it was, 10 or something, just had to nail that map. So as a Hero, I've literally been playing Mario Kart since before Hero was born. So they're all surprised. They all think me and Jake are old and slow, but when we played Mario Kart that day, we were the best 2 players by far.
So you'd like to hear. So you telling me that you have your drifts down, bro? The angles are covered. You're speed running that.
Every corner's drifted. Every corner. You have to drift. If you're not drifting, you don't know what you're doing.
That's what you like to hear. That's what's up, bro. Because I personally also grew up on Mario Kart 2. My first team was Mario Kart DS was the first one, so I understand. I mean, I'm only 27, so hey. But so I get you. That game is way too fun to not try hard at. And aside from that, of course, closing thoughts from you, man. Right? G2 up next. Anything else you want to say?
Just up to us. We play well, we'll win. It's just in our hands.
All right. That's what we like to hear. Big EP, I'm a buddy. Thank you so much for joining me today, man. I appreciate your time, brother. And good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.